you know, round 3 is getting ready to start, and I see Paul in his stance, and I see the guy over in the other stance. I look over at the other guy, and the first thing I see is his mouthpiece hanging out of his mouth. And I told Paul, I said, Paul, look where his mouthpiece is. We know what that means. You know, go pick up the pace right now. You know, he's tired, he's ready to break, he's bending. You just have to break him in half right now. And he just went out there and did his job. I was proud of him, super proud of him that night, super proud of him.
That was good. So primarily, I mean, the things that you work on, I mean, obviously wrestling, I see you teaching classes and doing stuff like that. So that's basically like your day-to-day thing anyway.
Yeah.
And then what, at what point did you bring Rudy along? Was it after your first fight or when you turned pro?
Yeah, well, when I was in my amateur career, I was searching for, you know, different stand-up gyms and even training partners who could give me a run for my money. Gosh, it's deja vu to me that looking for somebody who could give me everything, whether it's a coach or a training partner or, you know, something. And my size, you know, size is big too. So, you know, I've been searching and I had a lot of good boxing partners who could beat me up all the time, and, you know, I would go to them before a fight, get my good scoring in just to know I could take a hit. You know, it builds my confidence to get into the pocket, like you mentioned earlier. And yeah, my cousin Rob, he actually owns a barbershop who sponsors me. Shout out to Ars Barber in Tower District, Fresno. And yeah, he told me that he knew a boxing coach and that he trains with some heavy, big hitting guys, top names in the fight game. I'm like, whatever, dude. Cut my hair and let's leave it as that. So then I'm starting to do my research, and boxing coach comes up. You know, I'm looking at him, and then I mentioned it to my cousin one day, and it's funny. I actually moved from Fresno to Clovis, and I'm starting shopping out of Winco, and I run into this guy. And I was like, I got you, dude, because I've been, you know, getting in contact with him via Instagram and stuff.
I bet he was looking for steak. So.
Yeah, right. He at this time he's with Daniel Cormier and his team in AKA, bouncing back and forth. I guess I could never catch him, and you know, one day he hit me back up, and I jumped on it. Right, it was my first.
That's a good choice.
Yeah, my first pro fight. I knew I needed something different. Either I didn't know what I was looking for, but I needed something to take me to the next level. So it's more than just boxing with this guy. He has the MMA background around his boxing. Not too many stand-up coaches have that. You know,
no, it's not that, but I've known this guy for
20 years, man.
Yes.
20 years,
but
man.
In vibes,
he's been there. You know,
Vibes,
he's
too.
been in there and inside. You know, so he knows how to compete from that side of the aspect, and how to prepare, how to deal with it, what your body is going through in certain situations. And then through the years, he, you know, inherited a lot more to his craft because, I mean, he was basically born into boxing, so that comes second nature to him. Anyway, that's what his family does. And then as the MMA involved, he was right there at the beginning. So to have that, and then right here in your own backyard, man, and then personally have that relationship, I think that's awesome. Dude.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Not everybody's gonna do that. I know, you know, I have someone that I relate to, because I've been a boxing coach for a long time too, but and helped out at the beginning when MMA with like the Doug Marshalls and all that stuff back then. But to have that kind of relationship, man, especially because you get a lot of other people that want to come, and you're only one person, you can't be everywhere. But to have that dedication and that time to do that, man, it's going to take you to where you want to be, man. That's why I'm saying you're going to be in the front, big things, dude.
Yeah, I mean, there is no destination, but try to get as far as I can, and not even just on the ladder of MMA, but, you know, as a person too. I've gone humbled a couple times, and, you know, just learning from it and trying to get better every day.
Yeah, and that's just life. You got a good mentality, and along with that, but you have the wrestler's mentality. Whatever it takes, you don't quit.
Yeah, right.
And it's not just on the mats or in the room, but it's in life in general, man. Because you welcome that challenge. Put me to the test. You know, that attitude.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of people that talk about it, but unless you've experienced it. I did when I was younger and I was in high school until I started playing football and got real good, and then I left that behind. But until that time, I think I was a sophomore. That was helped my conditioning, and I used to do both. But yeah, and even now in my day-to-day life, everybody, God, dude, how in the hell? And plus, you're a kidney patient. How in the hell can you be doing all that stuff, dude? It's great. Just put it to the test, buddy.
What is this?
This right here?
Yeah.
Check it out, man. These are real good friends of our show.
I see it in the wrestling
shout
community.
out.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well,
I know it's cauliflower ear.
Yeah.
But is it a singlet brand, a shoe brand, just apparel?
Just apparel. Guys that are, these guys right now, I'll tell you right now, I'll put money on it, will be basically like the next tap out.
Nice.
Where are they from?
Visalia, Fresno. They're always looking for fighters.
Who is it?
Friends of ours, this one guy, Chris and Cunningham, and Matt, I don't know his last name, but there are a couple of guys that they know, like Mike Moreno and all. They grew up with them.
Parlier? They were in the Parlier?
I don't know if they grew up in Parlier, but they grew up, like, they know Julio Diaz, they know Angel, all of them from the early days, and kept in touch and helped them out, you know, with gear and stuff like that.
Nice.
But what's his name? Chris, he is a guy, their family owns that Sinclair right there on, you know where the Chevrolet dealer is? I think it's on Shaw and...
By the 168 area?
Yeah, 168 area, that Sinclair. Yes, they own that right there. And that's where he is every day. And actually, he runs it for his dad. But yeah, he was a guy, went in there. They came on our show. And I said, man, I just, like an impulse, you know? And they go, yeah, you're always wearing different stuff. I go, yeah, because I get from fighters or whatever like that. And then when Combates came, I said, dude, I'm not a hoodie guy. I'm a sweatshirt guy, you know? I go, how much are you charging, you know, to make one of those? And I'll pay you. And I went over there, he goes, take care, don't worry about it.
That's cool.
You know,
That's
so
cool,
he's a good guy, and you know, we plan maybe in the future to do some stuff with him too. But yeah, they support the sport, and they're looking to help out fighters, you know, with gear and stuff. And who knows in the future, you know, in time, compensation as well, you know, like that.
You know, everybody needs help, man, on different levels in this fight.
Yeah, at the beginning, I mean, it is, because if you don't, I don't care who you are, if you don't, it won't succeed. It's just, you know, when those times come, it's paying it forward and taking care of the people that take care of you. You do that, and hey, life can be a lot different. You know,
that's true.
Unfortunately, a lot of people don't remember that, but it is.
And you got to remember where you came from, man.
Yeah, and that's exactly.
And it's like this. Back to what we were talking about. One of the reasons that, you know, me and Jeff got a great relationship. Jeff, shout out to Jacob over there. And you know, we've been doing business together since I was a fighter, you know, 20 years ago. And over in Lemoore, when they first had boxing there, you know what I mean? That was my brothers and I were kind of, I think maybe the first few sets. Hector Elatori, a few other guys. You know, that we I
mean, those were like the heydays, dude. I mean, just like when the WC was there, everything that was involved at Tachi, it wasn't just an event. It was, we would market up to the date. I mean, people would buy clothes that they were going to wear months ahead for that event. We would go to the Hooters when they first opened in Fresno.
What happened to all that stuff?
Well, marketing, they changed. Yeah. You're a different guy. That's what Big Jeff, Jeff Gray.
Who's that?
Big Jeff.
Oh, Big Jeff, Big Jeff.
Big Jeff, yeah, Big Jeff. Now his son is quarterback for, I think, I want to say Chicago Bears, or he's like second string or one of the teams like that. Yeah, because I know Christian went to a game over there when they played Buffalo, and his boy was.
That's pretty cool.
Jeff's son was that.
Cool. Yeah, through the years we've seen many people come and go over there, man.
Yeah,
the Christian Pennips of the world.
But that was the guy that handled the marketing back then, and then Adam Gonzalez was the general manager. Big Adam. All the guys were over like 6'8".
Big guys, yeah, they're all big guys. Like the guy he's talking about was huge.
Yeah,
huge.
But they were all into like the martial arts and to the boxing.
George Chung.
Yeah, George Chung. He was the promoter that turned a lot of stuff around, and later Goosen got involved doing their deal. But yeah, I mean, those were the days, man, where you had like kind of like grudge fights. Yeah. I mean, you'd have Tulare versus Fresno, or Tulare versus Rossi. They need to get back into the crosstown rival type stuff.
And you know that is a thing that regardless, if you're in the fight game, you're gonna come across fighting friends sooner or later. You know, and me and Paul have crossed that bridge, and you know, me and the coaches sat down and discussed it, and you know, felt that right now is not the right time for these two guys to meet.
Let them get paid.
Let them get paid a little bit. Let them build up a name for each other on both sides, and then come back. And you know, and if there's a possible title on the line, then we can put our differences to the side. Hey, I'll call you in 6 weeks. I'll see you in 6 weeks. You know?
And that's
you know, we'll have a cold one afterwards, man. But you know, the same thing was trying to build up. Christian was trying to build that for me and Hector. Me and Hector Alatorre, when we were both boxing, we both knew each other from the amateurs and everything. Never had any kind of beef, nothing like that. It was always good. But
he was doing that, and then actually, then when he ended up bring what's his name, Juan Herrera, got booted from Golden Boy, he came over here, and then he ended up kind of turning that thing. But yeah, I think that wasn't good. At the last minute, contacted you to take a fight.
And you know what the crazy thing about that is, and a promoter has his job. I understand that. But Christian, I love you, man. But Christian put me on blast with that one because I had to pull out of a fight about 3 weeks in advance because of a bad injury. Christian calls me about a week before the fight, offers me the fight. I tell him no, I can't. 2 days later, I open up the Fresno B, and it says that I think the quote was, he asked me to fight Hector, and I told him no because I wasn't ready. And then the re-quote by Christian was that guys know that if they're going to fight Hector Alatorre, they better be ready to fight. And it's like,
well, he said it.
Yeah. You know, but I get it. I get what Christian was doing. You know, he has a job to do. He has something to tell the B, and that's what he was supposed to do. But when you're young in the fight game and you don't get the business aspect of it, you can get offended at times.
Yeah, you can. And that was, I remember that time. He still fought RudyCruz, but it wasn't this one.
No, it wasn't me. Did he fight my brother?
Yeah.
He fought Rudolph.
Yeah.
He did fight Rudy.
Yeah.
And I totally forgot about that.
He knocked him out, and then after that is when he was supposed to fight Juan.
Yes.
But Juan fought Ruben, the ice cream kid, and Ruben knocked him out.
Yeah, I remember that.
Because it was going to be who's the best damn lightweight in the valley.
Yeah.
They were building up like that, man. And it was pumped because they invested a lot of money, man, in the marketing.
They did. Our posters were everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, the Palace, man, has been the premier spot around here. You know, Chansey tried, and of course, Table Mountain had their Muay Thai and boxing for a while. I believe Table Mountain's last was Freddie Roach brought Manny Pacquiao's brother down here for a fight.
Remember that?
What was his name?
That was like God, what the heck? Yeah, because I was there. I went to that fight. They only let so much media in there.
Yes. Bobby Pacquiao.
Yeah.
I was sparring him.
Yeah.
Because he was here for about 10 days. I was sparring him and getting him ready for that fight.
That was the last deal. They had like a couple of MMA. It wasn't Strikeforce, but it was, I think, just before they made Strikeforce. It was called something else. But they had a couple of fights there too. Because I know what's named Rocky Molina fought someone from AKA.
That's right.
On there, and then they also had it was a Showtime event because the venue wasn't real big, and it was myself and Jeff Sherwood was the only media people allowed in there because it was all TV people, so there was no room production, and there was, I think, God, who was it? I think Billy Evangelista or George, somebody fought on there, and then a lot of the guys from Buhawi fought on there.
I think that was George. I think that was George that night.
Yeah, but it was pretty cool. I liked going there, and then I don't know, the lady that was part of that marketing, she left. Her last name was Matlock or something like that. She left. And then they never did.
But you know, man, Lemoore never stopped. That's the one thing Lemoore never did, is they never stopped, man. They kept believing in the fighters and that they had around, because the Central Valley is it's a melting pot of good athletes slash fighters. You know,
yeah,
and
it is.
We're barely starting to get the exposure for what we have here in different areas. You know, and guys like Paul, have a great platform. You know what I mean, to go ahead and springboard from. You know, and it's a great opportunity for these guys to get out there and get their get their feet in the game and see what kind of mark that they can make in the sports world.
Yeah, and because I come from a boxing background, and how we talked about crosstown rivals. Well, there's tournaments every week. Back in the day when I was a kid, there was tournaments during the week.
Yes.
As kids, we'd go to the local Elks Club or veterans or whatever and do exhibitions. But anyways, yeah, so you still do get that in boxing. I mean, like Frank Alama, you got Tulare, you got Hector's place, Five Con Dios. You got a lot of them that see each other, so they're fighting a lot all the time, every week. So not all of them make it to the level of pros. You do see some, now, but there's a lot of them, when they turn pro, they go to Mexico. A lot of young guys, some are 15, 16 years old, getting those fights in Mexico to build up the record. And then they're coming here. You even see it here.
Yeah.
I've never understood that. Like, do they go to Mexico because they're not
paying.
tougher?
They're paying.
Okay.
So I was
like, I'd rather fight a civilized American and then go down south and fight, a poor Mexican dude because he's gonna be pissed. Tough.
But man,
they
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they do.
They come to fight.
And a lot of them, they have a lot of fights, man. You go out there, and of course, you're gonna be fighting an opponent, just like you do here in the States.
In an alley?
No. They got some good
back
stuff.
Of a Papa's and Beer
The
somewhere.
money's right.
Yeah, basically.
Right.
There you
back
go.
Of a Papa's and Beer somewhere.
Yeah, there you go, man. I remember the days going to cover some MMA fights over there in TJ at the Baby Rock, and at the time, Total Combat. Eric DeFero, him and Diana Ocampo. They had Ocampo used to have promotion, and we used to go there in a nightclub called the Baby Rock, and it was in a boxing ring. You go inside there, and it was all looked like something out of the Flintstones. You go inside there, and the boxing ring was sunk, and where I would be standing there to take pictures, the ring would be like right here. So they say the only thing you want to do, the guy falls out, push him back.
Like that combat karate? Or that, what is it called? Karate something? With
yeah, kind of like that.
Combat.
But I mean, you had some heavy players, man, going there. Brandon Vera, BJ Penn. I mean, all these guys that have fought. And there's a bar right here, the ring right here, and then the whole deal was across with all these different teams from wherever. And then finally,
your spring breakers down there.
Oh yeah, it was crazy. And afterwards, they would go to Adelaide's or something like that. Some
nice little strip club.
Yeah, strip club and whatever.
There's no shortage of those over there. There's definitely no shortage of those over there.
No, you just have extra change. We're selling T-shirts. Corey Cash. Corey from Grappling X, the Fight Lab at the time, would go over there and he'd sell his wares, merchandise and stuff, and put stuff away when the fights were over and put money away in a certain thing. I go, dude, what are you doing? He goes, hey. He goes, I have to have a certain money for the federales right here because when I go down to that place, they're going to ask me.
Yep.
So I got what I'm going to give to them, and I want to take money home. But I mean, you're talking a lot of, even old Christian and Adam, man, made their trek down there.
Oh yeah, the trip from like Ensenada from Tijuana to Ensenada, you might have to pay a few pulls, tolls to get down there. You know what I mean? But
you're getting an awesome e-ticket on the taxis, man. Sliding in those back seats.
True. Very true.
Yeah, those were the days, man. And then later on, they legalized MMA here, in California, and they were the second actual promotion to do one. And I went there, and it was at Del Mar. They had an event there, and at that time, not chief inspector, but the main guy from the commission. I can't remember his name, but no one liked him.
Oh man, we got a lot of those around.
The Mexican guy.
We got a lot of those around.
But I remember Rob Emerson. sat on the cage after he won, and he threw a fine at that dude, and he ended up bringing home like $200 after he fined for the first time, versus just saying, hey, don't warn him, don't do it again. While the guy that had ran the commission at that time almost took his whole purse. And later on,
you fine him $1,000, his purse was $1,200.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was brutal, man. He didn't last that long as that head commission guy. No one liked him. And every time we would go to an event for media, he was pretty rude to us. And we're just like, wow. But yeah, things have changed.
They have, man. Things have opened up. The sport is, I mean, come on. 15 years ago, he was banned from any cable pay-per-view network, you know, and now ESPN, you know, Ariel Helwani is sitting there, you know, he actually
finally
has a
got
job,
his seat, yeah,
you know, on ESPN. Well deserved, man. Well deserved because, you know, now Uncle Dana can't kick him out.
No.
You know, he can't kick him out anymore because he works for the company that is covering their events, you know.
Well, that's Major League, man, of all broadcasting. ESPN.
You can't get any bigger than ESPN, man.
Disney,
you know, owned by, you know, ABC, owned by Disney. You know what I mean? So that's exactly where, you know, where they wanted to get of it, you know. And one thing that I would like to cover, man, and talk about is the pay-per-view. And how they're doing that. Yeah. Do you know how they're doing that?
The pay-per-view on the side, I know on the side of the boxing, but I don't know on the side of
how they're doing with UFC.
They're going to go ahead and do it ESPN Plus.
You know what they're doing? They're guaranteeing the UFC regardless 500,000 buys. So they're paying.
Oh, so they're paying.
So they're not losing. Wow. They're not losing. And see, that was a worry that I kind of had because of the position that I'm in with the pay-per-views and all that, with Daniel being, you know, in his position. Yeah. And I was curious, you know, and sometimes you go in there, you sell 371,000, sometimes 4, you know, sometimes like with John, like 1.1, which is amazing numbers. So if I was curious to see, well, does it cap at 5? No, it covers 5 regardless, and then anything over is still over. Yeah, it's still a plus. So, you know, the UFC really at this point doesn't need you to tune in or anything like that because they're getting paid regardless that
paid
money
programming.
That they need. Exactly, man. So, you know, and it's something that took a lot of time and acceptance, not only in the sports world but also in the political world also to accept this, you know, because it was looked at as human cockfighting forever, you know, in the political views of a lot of states, man. So that's why it got barred and banned, you know.
So do you think the McGregors will still be pushed up before the Khabibs now? Because they don't care about the numbers anymore, so let the Khabibs run the whole game now because all the McGregors sell the pay-per-views, the Khabibs don't.
Well,
but now the UFC doesn't care, so who cares about the McGregors?
Exactly.
We don't have to protect them.
It's still business, so regardless, you're getting your cap of 5, but if I can get 5.5, or 6, you know, 500,000, 50, you know, or 600,000. It's always a business, and you're gonna always try to shoot for the max capital in your business.
You know how much Justin Gaethje made on the Reebok deal this last fight?
No.
$4,000.
My goodness. The main event. You know, but you know what? There is a cap. They have a level. They do, and I don't know if it's how many fights you got or how many.
I thought originally that was that.
It started off with how many fights you got, and he's still kind of low on that tier. He's got he's in 4 or 5 now, maybe.
He makes up for it with the bonuses.
He does because he keeps getting those bonuses for his it's either fight of the night, you know, or knockout of the night, you know. And
if a car only has 200,000 miles on it, he's
about 180.
175.
Yeah, I think 180, man. You know. But you know, watching.
He wins though
But you know, he did a great job. Him and his coaches. I listened to something that he said the other day. And everybody has a game plan, and you try to follow it to your best. And his coaches had a thing to where they wanted to control space. You know, and unless you're a fighter, you really don't get what that means. And what they meant by controlling space is you need to be in the distance to where those kicks are not going to be blasting you full force, to where if you need to catch one and take him down, it's a lot easier. Or just go ahead and take that distance away from him, so that way you can dirty box him on the inside, which ultimately, you know, won him the fight because, you know, poor Barbosa was stiff as a board at the end of the night, man. You know, the UFC's had a great month that was a great month of knockouts for them, you know. So
Anthony Pettis.
Anthony Pettis, yeah, that was another one, man. I mean, I lost a few dollars on that. I can't lie.
That one.
I can't lie.
He was getting peppered.
He was getting peppered, man. You know, and
but he got that flash where he don't care to pull whatever out to survive.
You know, the thing, his style, the way he's changing it, is very similar to every other aging fighter, because they go for a while with their head movements and what they're used to and what got them there. And when that's not available, they just put their hands up and try to walk you down. But in this sport, you know, with the gloves being so small, that is a very dangerous game to play. In his last 3-4 fights, how many quarts of blood do you think Anthony lost in these fights? You know what I mean, man? Like, you know, this fight, the Ferguson fight, the Poirier fight, you know, like the guy's leaking a lot now. And I really don't want to see Anthony take too much more damage as I wouldn't want to see any athlete take too much damage.
And it's true. It's true. I support that. Yeah, he has. I mean, from where he was before to now. Yeah,
you know, and I had a blessed opportunity to be in Milwaukee when he won the belt from Benson. And you know, his style from then to today, it's not the same athlete. It's, you know, he's taken away his finesse, and he's more of a brawler. You know, and the window gets smaller and smaller and smaller, man, as it goes on. You know, and the size of the gloves is a difference too. You know, like the other day when Artem got slapped by Paulie Malignaggi. You know, the argument was about the pads on his hand and how it's different. You know, and there is a difference. You know, and both will feel and understand the difference that day, because, you know, yeah, he got hit by Connor in the mouth sparring MMA with the gloves on and stuff like that.
Is he fighting Paulie in a bare knuckle fight?
He's got a matchup with another UFC guy, Jason Knight, I believe is the guy's name. And then after, if he wins that bout, then him and Artem are supposed to fight. And it makes sense
in a bare knuckle
boxing match. But you know, Paulie Malignaggi has never really had a weak chin. He's taken a beating. You know, he's got a great chin on him. But his boxing IQ compared to Artem
is way better.
It's day and night. You know what I mean? It's day and night. So
and Artem's chest is up.
Yeah, chin's high, walks you down, no head movement, no slipping, and if there's no kicks and anything to disrupt the timing of what a boxer can do. And we saw Floyd, you know, toyishly walk McGregor down. You know, he never did. Who was the last person that Floyd walked down with his hands down smiling? Nobody. But he understood that he was able to.
That little Asian dude in Japan.
We know what that was. It was called an exhibition for a reason. You know what I mean? You can call that an exhibition, and you can do whatever you want with that exhibition with that label on it.
Actually, that fight with McGregor should have been an exhibition.
It should have. It should have been.
Really, legally, it should have been an exhibition because he had no boxing experience, and it even states that.
But you know, man, it's like. It's a popularity contest, you know, and if you're popular, you know, at that time, you know, the Nevada Athletic Commission and the UFC have a great relationship. You know, let's not shy away from that at all. They have a great relationship, and if there's a way for the commission to profit legally, you know, and you can convince the heads of that commission that this is going to be safe because he's done this in this martial art. Let's let him do this. Okay, let's go watch him spar Paulie Malignaggi. Let's watch him hit a punching bag. Oh, okay, yeah. Here's his license. You know, and the guy made what, $100 million. You know, take home off of that. Imagine what the commission, you know, in itself as a business took home. You know, and once again, it's the popularity thing because McGregor's a popular guy on the block at that time. You know, and you know, as Floyd said early, you know, we'll see what the money does to you, and. You know, unfortunately, we've seen what it's done to McGregor on his side. Hats off to him for putting a little money away and investing in a liquor company. But you know, on the other side of it, man, it's his personality has gotten way out of control, and he's getting away with essentially doing some harmful stuff, and especially with what's coming up with Khabib and him in the last couple of days. You know, it gets really ugly when you start bringing people's religion, fathers, and wives now into it. You know, and you insult them the way they do.
They're still going at it?
Oh, they went at it.
Even worse. It's the worst right now.
Yeah. He basically said something about Khabib's wife, because in the Muslim community, in their religion, you know, in public, the woman is veiled. You know, she's covered. And, you know, one of the things McGregor leaned to was, hey, you know, big surprise, there's a goat underneath there. You know, and that's that has a whole lot of jabs in many different departments.
It is.
I'm kidding.
You know, and it's you know, and somebody said it today. Kevin Gastelum said it the best. He said this needs to be stopped because somebody's going to get hurt and or shot, because it might not even be somebody from either camp or crew.
Yeah, just their religion.
Yes. You know, it's you really don't want it to be that guy. If that's how you plan on selling, you know, it's the wrong market. It's the wrong area to market. As the UFC lost control after the fight, once again, I don't condone what happened, but I understand what happened.
Yeah.
You know, you cannot let that happen. You can't promote a fight based on a felony event that happened, and that's what they did over and over and over. But essentially, what does the public want? They want blood. You know, and you know they got it that night. But in all reality, if they do fight again, the same thing's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You know, in between the first and the second round, he's gonna look at Khabib again, tell him, "Hey man, it's only business." You know, but it's not business. When you make it this way, the business overspills into the personal, and that's what happens.
And what's funny, you know, I support what you said, and that's true. You know, they did promote it from that incident, and then when Khabib got real, then it turned out him to be the bad guy when he said, "Okay, then this is what you want. Then I'm going to bring it to you." When it really got real, then everybody, "Oh wow, what
he's a beast. He's an animal."
Yeah, isn't that what you want?
I mean, how many times in the 6 weeks leading up to the fight?
You can't have both, man.
How many times in the 6 weeks leading up to that fight, in commercials, did we watch a dolly fly through a bus window?
Yeah.
You know, over and over and over. You know what I mean, man? And that is
people really got hurt.
They did.
Really hurt.
Ray Bullard with his eyes. You know, poor old Rose is still going through therapy. You know, because she had some traumatic situation and she doesn't like coming outside, and you know, it affected more than the event. It affected everybody, you know, and somebody said it the best from one FC the other day. I don't know if it was the president or whatnot, but he said the West has taken the martial arts out of, like, they focused on it and made it into a different thing. You know, they've taken the martial arts out of martial arts, and it's now a fiasco. You know, and he wants to bring it back to, like, he brought up great points. Why do you take your kid to the local karate dojo? You know, to learn respect and to learn how to, the martial art of it. And ultimately, in every art form, it's about respect. But when you take it to the next level, you got to have the powers that be leash the problem before it gets out of hand. You know, and hopefully they do that now. You know, but only time will tell, man. Only time will tell. That's how it goes.
I think every martial art is like that except for boxing and wrestling.
As far as?
Yeah, I'll shake your hand, but like even NCAA state championships, you beat me, I slap your hand and I leave.
Yeah.
Or like even the champ, the one time he'll stay there and let the ref raise his hand and put both hands up is when he wins the state title or that NCAA championship. Like all the stud wrestlers, you try to raise their hand, they'll raise it just a little bit and then walk off. Like they don't want to be noticed because they know they got another guy coming up.
Yeah, they gotta go.
And it's like, like too much of anything will kill you.
True.
But yeah, I don't know.
You know, man, it's the fight game, man. You know, like, but even in boxing, you know, even in boxing, do you remember that one guy? It was about 12 to 15, 16 years ago. It was on maybe ESPN. He lost the fight, boxer versus brawler. As the gloves were coming off, they're taking off the hand wraps. They raise the guy's hand. The guy turns to hug him, and the loser clocked him and broke his jaw.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah, I try to think who it was.
I can't remember that guy's name, but that guy is doing life in prison now. You know why he's doing life in prison? Because Max Kellerman, who was a sports writer, his brother was also a sports writer, wrote a column about that guy, what he did. That guy went to his house and burned him, killed him and burned him.
Oh, wow.
So he's doing life in prison, man. Like, you know, some people are off the hinge, man, and that was one of the situations, you know, so this fighter's got to have a little nutty. You know, you got to be a little crazy to get in there and do it more than once. But to take it to that level, that's just something different. You know what I mean? That's criminal. You know, and there's no room for any of that, man, in any sport whatsoever. But when you got two guys that are
that's not a sport anymore.
No, it's now a street event. You know, and back to the famous words of Khabib: "Send me location." You know, what do you want? 20 guys, 30 guys? Me, you, one. Let me know. I go. You know, it then becomes that, you know, and you can't have that, man, because in Khabib, I know Khabib. I've been around him in camps, him and every one of his guys, even the guys that were involved in there, Islam and Abu Bakr, those guys that were involved inside of that cage, those are the utmost respectful guys you can get. You know, it just spilled, you know, and it became something else, man. So, you know, we got to control it, man, and make sure it stays within the confinement of those walls or those 4 ropes, you know. And that's it, man. But we'll see how it goes, man. We'll see what the next venue brings. But, you know, as of right now, you know, all I'm focused on is Paul on over here. You know, I have a lot of guys that I work with. I have a lot of guys that I work with and worked with over the years. But I've kind of narrowed it down to the few that the quality of student is what I'm looking for. You know, and as a teacher, everybody wants a good student. You know, you want that guy that wants to listen, you know, and when you question something, it's not to the point of, I don't want to do this. It's the question as to, how do I get this right? You know, and I get that a lot from Paul. And it's like, I show it to him 3 times, and he's got it. You know, and then we keep evolving to the next thing. And then we take what we had here, and what we worked on here, and we start meshing them together. So he starts to get an understanding of why I want you to do this, because it chains into this. And as Paul being a wrestler, there's chain wrestling. You know, as Paul knows, you know, you shoot for a single, it doesn't work out, you shoot it for a double, you take him down, that doesn't work, you know, you go for a cradle, you go out of that, now you work into something on else. It's the same thing for mixed martial arts. You know, if you start off, it's always going to start boxing, standing. You know, and then you shoot for a right hand to a single. You know, that doesn't work. Then you let go of that, you go for a clinch. That doesn't work. Go back to your single. So we chain fight. We're working from one art to the next at the same time, becoming a whole mixed martial artist. And as a coach, I've been blessed to be able to go up north and be around guys like Bob Cook and Javier Mendez, you know, and pick their brains and watch how they work and they move. You know, and it's never really for me, I never really ask, hey, can you sit down and show me? I'm more of just that visual student when I'm in that mode, and I watch and I absorb. And I try to teach the things that I see that these coaches teach that ultimately make champions. And I see that out of this guy. I see the fundamentals. I see every spice that you need to make a nice rigatoni. You know, I see every spice that I need to make a champion out of this guy. So all we got to do is just keep grinding, keep learning, and keep exposing him to new elements and to new areas, because there is always levels, you know, in this sport, you know, in everything. And, you know, he's at a great level right now, but we need to get to the next one after this next fight. You know, so in preparation for this one, Monday me and him are taking a drive up north to San Jose, to AKA. And he's going to go get some sparring up there, and, you know, I'm going to introduce him to all the guys out there and you know, intermingle and just and find new training partners, you know, reach out in the fight game and, you know, make it a family-like event in the fight game. You know, it's hard, man. You travel, you're away from your family, you're cutting weight, you know, there's a lot of factors to it, man. So the more comfortable you can be in this game of sharks, I'd rather swim with the fellow sharks that aren't going to bite me as much, you know, and let's make some friends, man, so that we can go eat together instead of, you know, trying to eat each other. And you know, I see a lot of that in Paul over here, and I'm excited for the things to come, man. You know, he's been blessed to have his first 2 fights in LFA, you know, and in combates, one at the Save Mart Center, one at the Sound Arena. So, you know, to start your first 2 fights off, man, at 2 of the biggest, you know, venues that your city has to offer, that's a blessing, man. That's a blessing. And you know, next is the Palace, man, and that's no short cake for anything. You know, you got guys there that are scouting all the time. The last fights we had there, you had Reed Harris there. You know, looking at guys and trying to see what they can bring on over. And you got guys like Alex Perez and, like, you know, a lot of these other fighters, LeVar Johnson, and, you know, these guys who started there and who ended up in the big show. You know,
hey,
so
Casey Kenny just got there.
So
what featherweight champ?
All these guys, man, have their chance, and I gotta send a shout out to Lamore once again for keeping the doors open and welcome us back, man, all the time with open arms, you know, to showcase our talents as coaches and fighters, man. So can't wait for this guy to go in there and have some fun.
So you're excited for what's coming?
Oh yeah, I feel good. One thing I want to add is before I even met Rudy. I did my research on what other fighters did for strength and conditioning, and when I brought him in, I'd hit mitts with him, and then incorporate some of my stuff. And after a couple practices, I asked him, what do you think about it? And he was good with it. He was, he gave me a couple pointers, about timing and stuff, and what they do up there up north, and it's something that I'm able to balance with, because I'd rather be wrong at something and fix it than find out the hard way. And, be like, well, damn, I wish I should have did ground and pound because I'm a wrestler and I take them down. There's no point in me doing nothing but wheel kicks when I'm going to shoot a double leg on you. It's like, what the hell? I put all my practice in wheel kicks and I should have been doing ground and pound. So
it takes a good chemistry, man. And we've clicked well. A lot of the people that he knows, I know, and Fresno's not the biggest place, man, and you find that a lot of people know each other. And even in the fight game. Even in the fight game, man, it's smaller than everybody knows, man. And that's another thing I want to point on, is the fight game is so small. And when things are promised in the fight game, we all have to remember nothing is promised. So when a promise is made, you can't really take that serious. But when I have a role in this fight game, Paulie has a role in this fight game, management has a role in their fight game, promoters have their role. We all have a role, and ours is to train, make weight, get in shape, and show up to fight that night. Everybody else has their job. And when the fight game is so small, when one story gets told about a certain thing, and then you go back and find out an hour later that it's not true, it's insulting. And it's disrespectful, because, as you said, as me and I've been in this shit a long time. And then, not only that, my father had 44 professional fights himself. So I grew up learning and listening to the insides and outsides of the fight game. And then when I put my foot in, my dad was like, I told you, see? I told you this was gonna, and everything's falling into place the way my dad told me it was gonna happen. And it's the same thing, that knowledge that I'm passing to Paulie. That this and this and this is gonna happen. So let's be ready for this, and it's happening. But when we all have jobs to do, let's not beat around the bush. Transparency and honesty is the best way to have a fluent relationship between fighter, coach, management, promotion. So let's all be transparent and just be real with each other, so that way we can make sure that we know what we're doing. Because to train for a fight camp, it's exhausting on all ends, and even financially. And when it doesn't come through, because of the bullshit that hides underneath the leaves, it's frustrating. But we all know that the fight game isn't guaranteed. Hell, I had an opponent break his leg on the way to the ring one time. He's tripped on the ropes for the cameras and broke his ankle. You're never guaranteed until after the fight's done. When the bell goes ding and you get punched in the face the first time, that's when you know what I mean? Okay, it's happening. Besides then, man, like, look at us with Anderson. With John Jones at UFC 200. 2 days before the biggest event in UFC history. They had to change it, and thank God Anderson Silva, stepped up to save the main event. You never know what's gonna happen until it's in motion. But true. Transparency and honesty is what I'm looking for in every fight promotion. You're not gonna get it to the 100%, but don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining outside. And that's really about it about that situation. I love this shit more than I can, more than I can count, man. But my dad had a saying for a lot of the promoters. They're shark shit. Wes Hodgins taught me that one. Wes Hodgins is a name that that has been around the fight game. Rest in peace. And Wes used to call him shark shit. And I told him, well, why do you call him shark shit? He goes, well, what's on the bottom of the ocean? What's there? All the shark shit from all over the years, from them shitting it, and that's where a bunch of these, people are. So eating off of you, so feeder. So you got to learn to go ahead and swim past those guys, but everybody has to deal with shark shit accordingly until you start to see the daylight. You go more and more up, the more up you go, the more daylight and sunshine you see. So I can't wait to see the sunshine with this guy. We're gonna get it.
It is.
Yeah, and Rudy was also saying how you can't just jump up. Well, basically you can't just jump off your couch and go ahead and fight. It doesn't work like that. But no, sometimes it does. You get those fighters who devalue the whole market and it's like, yeah, I'll fight for $500. And it's like, well, damn, what does that do for me? You know, you don't want to pay me my money. You're gonna, you know, give him the spot. And it's like, well, I guess you win at the end of the day because you get that guy for $500. You know, and I'm not saying that's the real number, but yeah, it's nuts. It's like, as a professional, I have to treat it like a profession. You know, no one's not gonna do a venue at Tachi Palace in a week. They're not gonna get off of their couch and do it in a week. And it's like, well, I'm not gonna get off the couch and fight in a week. Yeah, I could prepare, but there's still other variables, you know. That as a professional, I've learned in the amateur as much as I can in the amateur days. I gotta do it as a professional because if not, you know, you could easily go broke. I could take one swift kick to the head,
that's it.
and I'm gonna be like, you know what, I'm out of here, you know. So yeah, that sucks in the way with the market, and you know, fighters just want to say yes to anything. It's like, well,
but you said a great thing, man. Devaluating, you know, bringing value down of your worth.
Yeah,
you know,
like that, diluting.
It's diluting, man. You know, you're putting water in wine. You know what I mean? I don't like that. I like my alcohol at 13% when I'm drinking wine. I don't want it at 6.2.
That's true.
You know what I mean, Chris?
But you look at, you know, and that's true. You see a lot of them, but you see the same quality of fighter that they're getting too. They're not putting the, they don't care. No. They're the same guy that can't hold a job. They're the same guy that's probably never got a full week's check.
Yeah.
You know, they're probably the same guy that's never got income tax rebate or whatever.
But as
you know,
a promotion,
for a full year.
As a promotion, you don't need a fighter every day of the week. You need him 4 times a year. And if you can't get him 4 times a year, well, there's basically 4 other fighters who will fight for you half of the price you would fight for. So in the reality, the promotion holds all the marbles.
Yeah, and that's the kind of show you're going to end up with too. That's the one that's, like I always tell everybody, knows 10 people, right? You go to that show where those fighters are fighting, and probably 4 of them out of maybe a 9-fight fight card, and they're going to go, you know? And that's what happens. And,
you're totally right.
That 10 people, you know, tells 4 other, that's just turned into 40. Those are tickets that aren't being sold.
Yeah.
And then we wonder why people don't wait. People don't go and buy a ticket right off the bat. They wait to the last minute.
True.
Because of that situation.
Sure. There's always that little headline, that little line on the bottom.
Yep.
Fight card is subject to change. You know, and as an audience, you know, it sucks. You know, but it's part of the promotion, man. Part of the fight game.
But isn't that the difference between MMA and boxing? Like boxing, the Ramirez manager does great saying Ramirez. Not come to the WBC title at Save Mart Center. It's come see Ramirez. Here it's come see, you know, Combate Americas or 559 Fights. Or, you know, just that itself. It's not marketing to the fighters itself, just the stage and just their brand, which is fine, and you know, all fair play. But
the difference is boxing is not. You have promotions that are entities. You know, you have your Tachis, you have your TWCs. You know, you have your Cage Warriors. You got all these different ones, man, and those are their own entities. The UFCs. With boxing, it's the WBC, the WBO, the IBF, the WBA. You know, then you got your smaller brackets.
So any of those titles could be fought at Tachi Palace?
At any time.
Gotcha.
At any time. At any time.
And you're only fighting for the UFC championship in the UFC.
Under their banter. Under their banter. You know what I mean? You won't be
so
able
which
to
way's better?
You know, man,
is it boxing because it's old money?
WBC, they played more money, man.
WBC
because it's old money, though. It's super old money.
It is old money. But you know, man, I'll be honest with you. It's the same thing at the beginning. You know, you got guys that get paid $250 to $400 their first fight, and they're doing their medicals. You know what I mean, man? And they're end up coming out of their pocket to compete. Yeah. You know, and that's sad, man. But it's the sponsorships of fighters are starting to grow a lot more than what it was even when I was fighting. You know, you got lucky, man. If one or two people sponsored you in the local circuit.
Is that because MMA was frowned upon or fighting was frowned upon?
No, bro. I just think
mainstream now.
I just think that people around here didn't really see too much fighting to know that they can go ahead and put their name on those trunks or on his road. And then the management started realizing, hey, there's an extra financial outlet, not only for the fighter, but for me also.
Yeah.
You know, so they start reaching out for these outlets to get these sponsorships. And now, you know, you got these companies, man. You know, you got from Starbucks to somebody's personal tire shop. You know, there's a wide range of what you want to pay depending on where you're willing to put it.
And there's a blurred line there too. Like you get your name out good, everyone wants you on, but you say one thing wrong, I'll take my name off.
But you know, for the boxing part, it started when what was it, FU.net or something, or Golden Palace. When they used to put it on the back of fighters as they would go compete.
They would go in there and they actually put it on there with
they would spray it on their back
or whatever like that.
GoldenPalace.com.
That's what I plan on doing. I have a tattoo sponsor. He was like, any tattoo? It's like, well, how about if I do
that's a
not
lifetime.
Not a permanent tattoo.
But
during my fight.
Yeah, but you know,
there's
man,
a sponsorship right there.
They stopped doing that, I think, because a couple of fighters caught a bad allergic reaction to some of the stuff that they're putting on them, and some of them got it burned into their back permanently. Once the sweat and the heat hit, there's a chemical reaction.
I would just do like henna or something.
Yeah,
nothing.
Hey, man,
I know GSP did it with the MGM.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah,
that was dope.
I remember that.
I wonder how much he made off that.
That pre-Reebok days, man, were financially fruitful for fighters in the UFC.
Oh heck yeah, you can get everybody. I remember 2004, the first guy that I sponsored, it was the UFC Mike Kyle, and he was the first fight on the main card on pay-per-view, and he fought Wes Sims, knocked out Wes Sims. Comes out there, and I send my logo and everything, and his guys say, hey, I can't put your whole logo on there because there's a lot of words, Fighting Unlimited News. So they came out with FU News on these hats. Dude, you know how much hats I sold? Oh my God. Even today, even 17 years later, same thing. Yeah. It was the whole thing, and I go, it's not that. It's Fighting Unlimited. It's what you make of it. You know? But that's how it started.
Give me my money back.
Yeah. But it was cool. It blew up, man. I gambled, and he was a guy that fought here local, you know, for AKA. And went out there, did his deal, man. And even I got him even on, at the time, Tachi had a football team, the Central Valley Coyotes, and they played at Sullen Arena. I got him on the team.
Wow.
He was a running back and a linebacker.
I remember that.
I brought him out there, and Kristen goes, look at Mike Kyle. Yep.
Big guy.
Yeah.
Big guy.
Yeah.
Nice guy, man. Outside of the cage. Yeah. Inside, different stories. A lot of people are. So this guy, too. You hit that switch, man. It's time to go.
Oh yeah.
It's time to go.
Like I was telling Rudy the other day, I'm a wrestling coach. I'm a personal trainer, for adults and for kids. And then, I practice jiu-jitsu, and then I'm also a student of Rudy. So it's like I gotta keep flipping the switch on and off, which is it's easy for me, to be honest. It makes it easier. It's like, how would I, when I'm with him? It's like, well, how would I want my wrestling kid to be when I'm coaching him? If I get a snobby kid, and he's having a bad day, sometimes I tell the kids, it's your responsibility to have a good day at school. Don't come to the wrestling room and piss the other kid off, and then he pisses the other kid off, and now we have a room of just bad energy. Yeah. So it's like sometimes I mentally split that switch for him, for myself mostly. Yeah. And he'll catch it, he'll compliment me, and then boom, it's a snowball, and we'll just go right into it.
Get busy.
Yeah.
Got to make sure that it's working right, man. And once again, another thing that I learned from up there is training the brain, to react and adjust, and AKA for a long time took a bad rap with injuries and training too hard and caveman-like mentality. And, now if Coach Hobb, you walk in the room and Coach Hobb sees that something's wrong with you, or he sees anything, he'll pull you to the side. Hey, what's going on? Well, I had a bad day. Me and my girl were arguing. Then don't start today. Or I got a headache. I didn't feel good. Or I took that shot. My nose feels a little. Then we're not going to spar today. Yeah. You got to conserve yourself, because you
don't want a red line.
What's that?
Red line. You don't want a red line every day.
And what? Majority of the injuries, concussions, and damage comes in training. And we learned that through boxing. Yeah. You have to be a lot more smarter about it. You're in summer. I'll give you a prime example. In the summertime in Fresno, it's 110. And then you go inside an area, and now it's 125 in there. And then you're sparring. So your body temperature has reached its max. And then you go back to the corner, you're gassed, winded, and tired. And you put your head down and you get cold water poured on you, and you finally get that good breath back in you, and then you look up and your coach goes, 1 more round. I need 1 more out of you. If you're going 8 rounds, this is 7. I need 1 more out of you. And then what happens? You guys go, and you're at a lack of oxygen to the brain already. You know, your body heat is so high, and then you get punched in the head.
You half-ass moves.
Yeah, for a good minute and a half, 2 minutes, and then you get that last flurry. And as a fighter, excuse my language, you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna fight back now. And you start fighting back, and both you guys take unnecessary damage in the most damaging areas and times. That's why boxing took 15 rounds away. Yeah. Because that extra 3 rounds was killing people.
Too much head.
Yeah. Too much damage, man. So, you know, it's if my kids ever get into that, I need to make sure, you know, that they are guided in the safest and the best direction, as I do with Paul and everybody else that I'm with now. You know, I don't want to see anybody get hurt. You know, there's some sports that can do a little bit of damage, but there's not many that can kill you. Yeah. And this is one of them. You know, and we've seen it over the years, man. We've seen it over the years, and it's unfortunate, but it does happen. You know, and another thing that we can throw in this is the education on nutrition today compared to 20, 25, 40 years ago.
And self-therapy.
Yes, and self-therapy. You know, the healing process. No, go ahead and go get looked at. You know, you're not going to be a quote-unquote pussy, you know, if you don't come out here and do it. No, go get looked at. Smart, man. Yeah, you know, that's the longevity of sport, career, and life. Yeah. You know, you want to be able to hold your children and have a good, lengthy conversation with them. Be articulate and be able to not slur your words, man. And boxing, we've seen it over the years, and we're now, poor Chuck, you know, I listening to Chuck Liddell talk, I hear it now, you know, and it's guys, and this sport is...
A little bit of partying too.
Yeah. But, you know, this sport is still in its infantile stages.
It's new.
You know, and the guys like Chuck, Randy, Tim Sylvia, you know, Kevin Randleman, and those guys, you know, those are the ones that we're going to have to find out when they're in their later stages of life, what the damages of this sport did to them.
True, but how long has football been around in the Sayu guy from the Chargers? That was only, what, 10 years ago?
True.
And how long has football...
For a long time.
But our technology's better. Hopefully we'll catch it even more.
And, you know, that's why the game is getting safer, and people don't like it as fans. You don't like it. You know, but you want to see a guy like Derek Carr go out there and have a long career. You don't want to see him have a 2-year career, 4-year career. You want to see a guy like Tom Brady, who's in his 28th year, damn near, you know, out here still doing it, you know. And Phillip Rivers, another one, you know. You know, you just, the safety is very important, man. And if we can't have safety, then it's damn near not worth it, you know. And you can hear the guy at the local bar go, well, he knew what he was signing up for, but no, man, it's bullshit. You know, it takes a special breed of person to get in there and do it. And we do know we're putting our life on the line when we do it, but it's not something that we're looking forward to just like, well, you know, okay, I'm gonna die today, you know, and it's okay because I knew what I was signing up for. Kids, you guys knew what I signed up for, right? No, you know, there's a life beyond this, you know, a life beyond this, and that's very important for me, man. Very important for me.
You think, with all that being said, you think there's a certain cap where they should put that they should be able to let people fight?
Who's the judge of that?
You know, depend on who take responsibility of that. You know, ultimately, from what age to what age.
I mean, if you have to still pass a physical. You have to go to the eye doctor. You know, you have to make sure your reflexes are good.
But even in that, there's crookedness. Yeah. Even in that, there's crookedness. Yeah, you know.
I'm not going to say who would, but I've known several fighters that have
gotten cleared when they shouldn't be. Yeah. Personally, I know people like that. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's unfortunate because sometimes you talk to that person and you know, and today, and you understand that they shouldn't have been cleared. You know, and it's sad because I don't want to see anybody take any more damage if they have to, man. And
but what if they need it?
If they need what?
Not the damage physically, but mentally, like a rude awakening. Like, oh, okay, I am done with it. Like I have a buddy. I'm not gonna say his name or anything, but he wanted to fight. Wanted to fight, and I kept telling him, well, do this, do that. The guy did everything, and still, I want to fight. In my eyes, it's like, dude, you don't look like a fluent fighter. I'm not a fluent fighter, but you're not even close to where I'm at. Well, let's try to set you up for a debut, and let's do it. Sure enough, he did it, and now he understands. Oh, he won. Yeah. took a little bit of licks, but now he's like, now I know what it is about.
Yeah.
It's like, it's so hard to get that in somebody's brain. So like a Chuck Liddell.
Until you experience
Like a Chuck Liddell, I'm still the man. I can knock Tito out. Maybe not the rest of the guys, but Tito I can knock out. And once I knock him out, I'm going to go on to the next one and the next one. And do you think he's going to go back in there?
You know, man, it's just, honestly, it goes back to the morality of the physician that's in his position. You know, and the commissioners that are there overseeing that doctor do his job. Because there was a point at one time when I was at a gym, and an older gentleman was trying to get a boxing license, and he asked me to spar with him. Woody came in there as the commissioner to watch him spar. So this is a guy who's watched me fight multiple times, this commissioner. So he came up to me and he said,
do you feel pressure knowing if you beat this guy up, he won't be able to do what he likes?
No.
Like
I could be doing him a
hands.
favor.
Okay.
Yes,
okay.
I could be doing him a favor.
Gotcha. You're like
so
a doctor who's making the kid cry. You're making him better at the end of the day.
Yep. So
that's what my doctor told me when I was little.
So this is what happened. So Woody came up to me and he goes, "Hey, listen, Rudy." He says, "This guy's gonna be 39 coming up soon." He says, "He's a little older. He don't have any amateur fights." He says, "I know what you can do. I don't want to see you going 30, 40%. I want you to go about 75 to 80%. I need to see if he can handle it." So in the first round, you know, he's telling me, "Hey, pick it up, pick it up." I get back to the corner and Woody looks at me, grabs me on my headgear, and he tells me, he says, "Hey, listen, I know you're in here and you're pussyfooting with him right now. Give me a little something more because it's his life that's going to be on the line." I was going light. You know, I was going light. I was sticking him with a few jabs, but I wasn't really putting nothing on.
No hard bodies delivered.
So in the second round, I went out there and I started and I threw maybe two or three punch combinations, and he buckled.
He said, "Oh damn!"
And then Woody stopped it, and Woody denied him a license. What did this guy do? He went to another part of the state where Woody wasn't there and got a license. 5 weeks later, he fought. He got torched in like the first 30 seconds of the first round. You know, and there's reasons why Woody was as good as he was, man, because he didn't bullshit.
He would take no shit.
Did that guy fight again?
I don't remember, man, to be honest with you. I think he just kind of went away. You know, and you know,
styles make a big difference too.
This shit's not for everybody,
man. Styles make a really big difference.
It is. So, hey, it's like that. And I mean, there's one guy, and Bill Baroni, man, I seen him not too long ago. And
I know.
So I mean, we talk about trauma, you know, and that's sad. He's a good guy, good people, but he's one of the. But he's been like that from when he used to fight.
I know.
He was that way anyway.
I remember a Strikeforce event over in New Jersey some years back, bro. My goodness, man. Wow. It's just fighters, man. Fighters are some crazy people. You know what I mean? We're a bit local at times, man. But you know the
it's just so boring being civil.
It is, man.
Not civil, but I don't know, man.
That's why we compete. You know, there's a burning edge of competition. You know, and the guys that are the most competitive are the ones who seem to be the champs. You know, like
the real risk takers.
Yeah, like Daniel. Daniel wants to beat you with tying his shoes.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to lose at that. He doesn't want to lose at a video game. You know, it's like those are the guys that you know are like, okay, this dude is over competitive, but. That's the nature of the beast, man. You know, that's that wrestler's grit that you talked about. You know, these guys don't want to lose, man. They want their hands raised. They want to pound their chest when they walk off that mat. You know what I mean? It's just like a fighter, man. And that's why I think I resorted back to being a coach is the adrenaline, you know, and that feeling that you get. It doesn't come in a pill. It doesn't come in a joint. It doesn't come in a bottle. You know, that rush is something.
Maybe a roller coaster.
Maybe a roller coaster. It's still not as close, man.
You're not in control at all.
Still not as close, man. You know, when I got some video of when we were fighting in Lemoore, you know, after the fight, I got on the ropes and put my hands up, and you know, you could just hear that crowd light up, man. And there's nothing like that, man. That's something else. That's something else. And that shit gets addictive, you know. And people stay in it too long sometimes, man. And you got to get out, and you got to know when it's time to go, man. And you know. When it's time to go, it's time to go.
But I still think if you max out your time is way better than not even ever getting in there.
True. You never know what you could have been.
Yeah.
You got to give it your 100%. But you know, everybody has a different expiration date. You know, and you never know. Some it's forced. You know, and some it's just the age just comes with it. You know, and I'd rather walk away on my own terms and be forced out. You know, and I wish that for everybody. You know. Walk away from it, man, in good graces. You know, and hopefully with us, you know, up north, man, we get to walk away with good graces. Hopefully with Paul, we get to walk away with good graces. You know, when we're done. But I don't see that happening anytime soon.
No.
We got a long career ahead of us, man.
Yeah.
So.
And even after the career, it's, you know, I have a lot of ideas in the back of my head that I haven't even told this guy yet, but yeah, in a couple of years we're gonna be known here.
For
it's
sure.
gonna be ours.
It's not gonna stop, man.
No one has a complete package here yet. And you know, I have my black belt jiu-jitsu coach, my grappling guys, my wrestling guys. I got little 8th graders who, you know, by the time I'm out of this sport, these guys are gonna be ready to go. And you know, whether they want to fight or not, it's going to be there for them, but they're gonna spark one of their buddies who's gonna want to do it. And it's like, you know, hopefully it's something like me, not someone who's trying to get out of street fights and transfer over, even though that's great too. But someone like, I've been wrestling since I was 6, and going to a regular job, just working for a paycheck for somebody else, I was like, I can't do it. You know, my last 2 jobs, I quit. I didn't get fired. I quit because I couldn't do it. It's like, you know, I'm not moving. I gotta go. I gotta chase something.
Yep.
I don't want to chase the paycheck because it's always there. And I'm gonna, you know.
And that's it. It comes. Everybody goes through it. I mean, I've been through. You know, for a little period, I went through it, but I didn't have a long time to do. But no, I mean, I had friends and relatives and stuff like that have clicked because they see, man, what the hell? How'd you do? You went to school, got to college, then all of a sudden, boom, man, you did, because that's what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I couldn't play football no more. I wanted to continue to compete. I've always raced since I was a kid, so I got involved into racing. And now, I mean, I'm at the elite top level, 18-time world champion. So it's like, but I turned a hobby into something, into a business 27 years later, you know. So, and then had a career with the Sheriff's Department for 25 years as a foreman.
Awesome.
So, but at the same time, always contributing to like the PAL, you know, to Victory Outreach, because I had a nephew that got involved in that, and I seen what that organization did for him, from a kid that was very fortunate, that was actually a blue chipper in football when he was a sophomore, and turned that into gang, became what they call stranger at 6'6", Mexican kid, into one of the most feared guys in Southern California.
Wow. You don't get 6'6" Mexicans that much, man.
No,
that's kind of a rare feat.
No. And then to where he is today, a top. I mean, he's a pastor, but he's also a successful insurance agent. He turned it around and said, "I'm still in the game, but I'm in God's game, and this is what the life it gave to me." You know, but to the point where my brother said, "Hey, you can't bring this stuff to our house," and they lived in Anaheim Hills at the time. Back then, it was like the place to be.
That's where you want to be.
Yeah, and they came, they shut that house up. And my brother said, "You know, you're my son. You're my only son, but I can't have you here like that." And it broke his heart. Sent him to a camp. He ended up graduating, learned all that stuff, came out,
changed his life.
Yep.
That's
now it goes to all over, and you know, and I see him once in a while, not as much as I'd like to.
Nice.
I gotta get on that here.
Yeah.
But no, that's what I wanted to count down.
Kids coming.
Give you opportunity to shout out some people that help you out,
Awesome.
and basically take the time right now to do that, and then we'll
thank
wrap
you,
it
Coach
up.
Angel Lopez, my striking coach Rudy, Stephen Bollinger, all my training partners, my sponsors, bodybuilding, Slim's Flooring, all you guys, Rayo, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
For me, man, first off, I want to thank Chris and MMA Fight Pass for having us. My barbershop in this Corner Cuts, Fresno, California. PaulElizondo for letting me guide him through this career of his. Halo Jiu-Jitsu for letting us use their facilities. Angel Lopez for always being a great guy, coach, and friend. And my team up north, AKA, man. We are AKA, and I love being in this sport, and they've taught me a lot, man. So hats off to everybody in the fight game also, because this is not an easy thing, man. So God bless everybody and Godspeed, man.
And that's it. Hey, I want to shout out to Spike and Rail here at the barbecue house, having our backs. Alonzo Morales out there, about millions, taking care of us for our banquet this last year, and little odd things that we do. Own a car. Eddie Aguirre out there in Visalia MMA for all your combat sports needs. Instead of mail ordering them, go in there, touch it, feel it, try it out, and right in front of your face. And he's welcome to do that anytime. And Glepler Digital for keeping us online. And that's a wrap for Thursday night. For Paul Elizondo, RudyCruz, my brother here. God bless you guys, and
God bless you
appreciate
too,
the time.
Thank you, my brother.
Oh, and for the fire stick. No. I should have threw a plug.
Oh, you should have plugged her. You should have plugged her.
Go out there on anything on Craigslist or anything you see. I'll put my shit against